I love that lead in so much.
Oh, me too. It's so great.
Joe is amazing.
Yeah, great job, Joey. But welcome to another episode of I Must Ask You a Question with Jen and James. And today is August 18th, and it's been quite a busy week for me. I feel like I've been running on fumes for the past, 5 days. But apparently my fumes are pretty good because I've been exhausted, but I've been going. But yeah, so how was your week? Everything going good?
It's good. I think we're both coming off of big events, right? I just came off of
You
Free
had
Comic Book Day, and you just came off of a really gigantic con.
Yeah. So tell me about your Free Comic Book Day real quick.
It worked out really well. We went low key this year. We didn't spend a lot of money advertising. We focused on Red 5 is actually in our city, so it's easy to have a publisher sponsor come and set up big because all their stuff is here too. So we had them come over. It meant not having a lot of like risk in terms of like flights for guests and hotels and those kinds of things. And
so in the past, you've gotten you flew out creators to come in and whatnot. Oh,
lots.
very cool.
Usually we have multiples that we have come in. We try to make a big to do out of it, and we love doing that. But this year kind of felt like we were kind of a little bit responsible for setting the mood and tone and pacing and the amount of people would be in the store that we couldn't. We couldn't give people we couldn't ask Tom King to come and then say, you guys all spread out, don't get close together and don't make a big line because it's like, there's no way. So we try to keep it pretty low key. We did have a comic book premiere early at the store. So that was it made it worthwhile for people to come, but we didn't do giant, photo shoots. We didn't have the Batmobile. We didn't do Deadpool Olympics, but I will tell you, people still came out and supported us and supported the charity that we raise money and canned goods for. So it was a really nice, steady. I got to see lots of people I hadn't seen in a while and get a bunch of neck hugs safely with, our masks on. But it felt like a Free Comic Book Day, but just a little more low key. It was a really great event.
Was there some good, this is like the first year that I haven't, well, I guess no one counts really last year, but first year I haven't been there in quite a while to check out all the offerings from the different publishers. Was there some pretty great offerings? I know we had an offering with White Ash Season 2 number 0, and there was a steak story in there too. But any buzz around any of the offerings?
There were some that were really, really popular. With White Ash did really, really well for us.
Great.
Whittled it down to almost nothing, which was kind of cool. But I like the two big, everyone kind of knew about them books for Stray Dogs and the House of Slaughter books.
Okay.
But
and now with the Stray Dogs, were they both new stories, House of Slaughter and Stray Dogs?
Yeah, I think it was content you couldn't get. They aren't going to be printed in the books, or maybe they'll preprint them when they do the trades or something. But it was kind of like the buzz was high for both of those series already, so it made it even higher for those books. But there were some prize books. There were some manga offerings that went really early because that's a really strong segment right now, and the teens are hungry for more. So I would say
my daughters recently got into manga. It's insane. We both, I had never seen it. We were really late to the game, but we watched Death Note over the summer. It was really good, and the theme song on it, the creepy theme song when they sit, when the guy's thinking, it was really good. And she's really into Attack on Titan. But I heard One Punch Man has been pretty buzzworthy book recently. I think they're making another show or something. I believe HBO. I saw something along those lines. But yeah, manga. I tell a lot of people this story when we went to the last Comics Pro in February of 2020. It was pretty wild. How they have the breakfast and they let the publishers pay a amount of dollars. And our co-publisher, David Byrne, and I were sitting there, and Viz Media came on. And I really thought nothing. I was like, oh, it's Viz. But when they started naming their print runs, how many copies sold, of a volume 3 was 895,000 copies sold. It manga mania is for real. And have you experienced that on the comic shop level? People come in for manga, have huge manga cover customers?
So here's the problem that we have right now is that COVID's made it really hard to source them. The demand is through the roof. So almost everything's at back order right now. And then Viz specifically has problems because I guess that one of their book binderies burnt during COVID. So, and they have not recovered from that problem. So the demand is really high, and it kills me every time a sweet teen comes in, has hunger in their eyes for reading, and our manga section is just decimated. We try like crazy to get it, but yeah, it's true. All those numbers, I saw those too at Comics Pro, and I was like, oh, I'm going to start developing my manga section and make it really strong. And we sure tried, but when those back orders fill, it probably will be 850,000 copies coming my way or something as we keep on
filling them. I just got into Chainsaw Man, which I think they premiered at that Comics Pro, and it got me interested. It just seems just crazy, like absolutely crazy. This guy has chainsaws for hands and legs, and his little chainsaw dog. It just, I don't think it's a show yet. Maybe it is, but it hasn't come over to the States yet. And I think that's going to be the next big one. But I actually purchased some. But like you said, they were on back order for a long, long time. That's something that, I've talked internally at Scout. Oh, everything okay? Fire alarm?
Everything's totally cool. No, it's just my regular ringtone. No emergencies on the bridge.
Well, with internally, we've discussed about starting a manga line sometime in the near future, about finding some kind of source that hasn't been tapped with maybe up and coming manga, and just kind of promote it. He's been at Scout longer than I have. His name is Michael Sanchez, and he's our manga extraordinaire. And I think it's eventually, we have a couple titles that are kind of manga. Like if you look at Stanley and the Snowman, which was a scoop book that was just released today, that's got a manga style art. We had Tinkers of the Wasteland, which was crazy. Again, it's crazy on the lines of Chainsaw Man that came out, 2016. That is really, really good. But that is something that we really want to look into. And I think Metal Shark Bro kind of skews on that manga style. Walter's art is very similar to that. Well, I saw that you guys premiered The Box, right? The Box #1 variant by Joshua Starnes.
Oh, yeah.
He's a great guy. He's a great writer. If any of you out there hasn't read his series Spook, which I believe was a 4-issue series, it's phenomenal. Such a good book, and I'm very anxious to find out what's in the box, so to speak. That's an old man reference. Well, that's good to hear about Free Comic Book Day, and it would be pretty cool, just throwing it out in the ether, that I come out a Free Comic Book Day. And we'll do a live show, maybe not on Free Comic Book Day, but just before it or after it. That would be super cool. So we'll hopefully the world will go to normal and we can jump and do that. But I was at Megacon this weekend, which is the largest Florida show. It's run by Fan Expo. It's out of Orlando, and it's right on International Drive. And it was a big learning experience for sure, because we haven't done a con. I think last episode I was explaining it for years, which is wild. And we have grown so much, and we have so much different offerings now than we've ever had before. So we have the title boxes, and we call them title boxes, but essentially what it is, it's a mystery box and a set of comics, and you get mystery variants. And then you can see in the background there, we debuted comic tags, which was very amazing and awesome. And then the response to it was great. But I brought my whole staff, essentially, except for one. Kristen held back. And we just it was a learning experience as how to set things up. Like a couple things that we learned, that if you see right there in the pictures that Joey's showing, those title boxes, they look gorgeous. And we put what the contents are. But one of the things, walking by, they don't know what they are. They just see this beautiful art with different prices on it. So one of the things that we're going to do that my team and I discussed is we're going to create signs that explain what it is. Like, what's a title box? And then bullet point what it is, just for those passerbyers. The other thing is with comic tags, when we explained what they were, huge response. Yeah. So that one is going to be a little bit more hands-on, just because it's a brand new product, and we're going to have to constantly, really constantly educate over the years. And I think comic tags would probably do better on their own, kind of away from Scout. And because each title box, by the way, has a comic tag in it. So that's the other thing that we another really like one of our best sellers, metal covers. I held back a few of the metal covers, pretty much of all our offerings, and those things sold like hotcakes. And of course, rare variants. You can see David's steak booth here. He did a limited edition metal cover for the show and a couple other variants. But it was great catching up, seeing a lot of familiar faces that I hadn't seen in a long time. You develop this like brotherhood with a lot of the the guys and gals. We also premiered Tracker, our toy line. Peter Gorel, excuse me, who's the creator of Phantom Star Killer. He goes by Killer Bootlegs. He brought our new line of toys that are going to be coming out. You see Phantom Star Killer and Julius Black, and he just did such an amazing job. There's Metal Shark Bro. The level of detail. These were 3D printing. For those of you who are listening to this and not watching it, be sure to check out our Facebook page for some of these pictures. I posted most of them on there, but 6 figures. We did some miniatures that we're going to be soliciting most likely in September on Lunar and Diamond, but also through our direct program. And these miniatures can be adaptable. They're going to be murder hobo miniatures where you get 2 little murder hobos, and they have cards that are completely adaptable to games like Warhammer and other role-playing games that you can use this card and add them to your game, pretty much any game. And both Joe Schmalke and Jason Lynch, the creators of Murder Hobo, they came up with some very clever ideas for it. So immediately after Megacon was a meeting of all the partners at our new HQ. So a couple of the partners from New York City and Los Angeles flew in, and they're doing a huge article on Scout, multiple publications actually, Forbes, Newsweek, and Bloomberg. And our PR representatives like, hey, we need to get a photo shoot going with pictures of the entire board and the partners, and they really want to go in, the growth of Scout at Megacon too, a wrapped van. But these are some of the pictures of myself and the board, as we call them.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's really cool. So these were pictures of pictures. Like we haven't, the photographer hasn't given us back the pictures, but our legal counsel and one of our partners, Trent Miller, he was kind of taking those snapshots as we're doing it. But yeah, it was really fun, like a model, and we had to set up because it's pretty much empty. Like everybody, like how cool is that shot right there of all the the Scout boxes lined up? By the way, those are the CBSN boxes. And here's a couple pictures of the warehouse. But here's the unfortunate thing where a lot of people don't see behind the scenes. All those boxes were at our previous headquarters that we're keeping. So now we have to remove those boxes and bring them back. So you're looking at another hour and a half of time because we're keeping all the title boxes and the title box prep over at our old HQ. And yeah, so now it's really just focusing on opening. The goal is to do it. I want to do either before do a big grand opening before Halloween, the weekend before, the weekend after is my goal. But there's so much going on and so playing catch up. And go ahead.
Do you intend the old HQ to be kind of like a storefront viewing?
No, it's going to be in my head. It's going to be like both Tracker, the toy company, Tracker Collectibles, and Comic Tags. They're growing and they need space. Like, for example, those Murder Hobo minis, we did a run of 1,200 total. We're doing like 1,000 regular, actually 1,500. 1,000 regular. We're going to do a New York Comic Con exclusive colorway. And then the creators, Joe and Jason, are doing their own colorway, like a Black Caravan type of thing. The footprint that it takes up, like, hey Joey, can you show real quick that Comic Tag footprint or the warehouse view? So I just want people to realize like the sheer amount of space. So we sold a lot of these. Those are, you see how much of a space that takes up? Those are the Comic Tag displays. We ordered 100 of those. That is only roughly about 50.
Wow.
So, because we've sold about 50 so far. So we're about to get in 1,500 of these miniatures. But in those miniatures, I got the tracking. I get them in to the warehouse on Friday, knock on wood. But they said it was 15 boxes. And the boxes are probably about 10 of those Comic Tag boxes together. So even as a temporary parking space, because we're going to send them to our, like the Comic Tag stuff, we have to send them to Lunar. We send them direct. Same thing with these Murder Hobo minis is we're going to be doing, sending it to Lunar, to Diamond, direct, but they have to have a parking space. So the sheer volume of what we're doing, and then of course comic tags as well. The goal, my long-winded answer to your question, Jen, is that the old HQ I envision to be the HQ of comic tags and tracker.
Okay.
So we're going to use that as essentially extra storage, and hopefully my landlord's not listening to this. Part of the reason why we're keeping it is because the price per square foot is ridiculously cheap. So unless things change, we're going to keep that address as well. And by the way, that really helps myself and our team, the team here, filling orders for retailers and for consumers. Oh, yeah. Not to have to take a huge, long, extended break to move in an X amount of time. We can do the slow moves. But it also, you feel like you're in just constant, it's just crazy. It's such an overwhelming event doing these moves, as I'm sure you've done before in the past. We've talked a little bit about it. It's not the most comforting thing, but it's exciting when it'll be done. I know it because the place looks amazing. Did
you end up in either space with a loading dock? Like an at-grade loading dock, which is all that matters in the world, so you don't have to pay for pallet jack or whatever it called, the lift gate.
Yep, the lift gates, and that's so funny that you mentioned that. I was just talking to the team today, and the amount, and I from a publishing standpoint, everybody, this is like the most exciting thing is that we are now sending pallets worth of stuff. It's like our pallet shipment game has just stepped up because of our Simon Schuster from all these different, like our Lunar, our Diamond. So we're sending pallets now, not just regular shipments. And I feel like, it's kind of like you broke a barrier and you're at that next level. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just sent an email to the team and our warehouse manager, one of my best friends, Trevor. I was like, we need to get something. I don't think we can afford a truck, one of those pallet, whatever they call it, but we're going to have to get one. And there's like leasing companies local, but we have to, because those lift gates, guys, the shipping companies, and again, all a lift gate is on a truck where they put the pallet on it and it goes bzzz, they charge it like $160 per time. And the amount of pallets that we're going to be doing now, I'm predicting anywhere from like 10 to 15 a month just to start. And of course we want to up that game, right? Because that means we're moving product.
And unless you have like a really sweet delivery person, they also charge you, if you don't have your own pallet jack, they also charge you to bring it inside.
Oh,
so otherwise
it's
they just drop it outside and then you have to still unload the whole thing anyway. There's all these little expenses that are actually big expenses that people don't think about in terms of moving books around, especially on big pallets. We find ourselves in that same space too, where we like make really sweet eyes at our delivery guys all the time because they bring it to the breezeway and we're like, we just open up our big double doors and they're like, I'll just put it inside for you. I'm like, nice. You.
I'll give you a quick story. When we had a delivery, one of our printers was in Montreal, and I like to think that I'm an even keel guy. I don't lose. It takes a lot for me to lose my temper, but my dad comes in, and my dad turns 80 this year, and I'm very close to my family, and my dad was at the shop, kind of like waiting for the mailman to come and waiting for this delivery from Marquee. And it was a pallet. And I had to go, I believe it was for my finance job. I had an appointment that I had to go to and meet with a client. When I got back, it was just when the guy left. But the guy made my near 80-year-old father move the boxes by himself into the storage unit. And I haven't been that mad for a long, like even talking about it infuriates me. And you want to know something that infuriated me more, Jen, is that we paid for the lift gate and we paid for it to happen. Yeah, of course we got refunded, but the fact that happened and the guy just sat there while my 80-year-old father did it because, that wasn't in his job description. He didn't have to do it according to his notes. And there's just something called common decency. So these are little behind the scene things that people don't realize that goes on. But yeah, it's, when you look at it, so what we do is, we have very friendly, like I personally think the best creator contracts in the business. And one of it is just my goal as a businessman and a creator, because we put creators first, I like to think. We do splits after shipping and production, right? And part of that shipping charge would be those pallet jacks. like $150. So if we actually buy this, it's going to save our creators money by doing this. So we don't deduct that, it's like this expense that we can save on. So if we're doing 10 to 15 at 150 a pop, and I can lease something that only cost us, the company, $400 to $600 a month to get this pallet, lift of some sort. I think it's a smart business decision, and we've gotten to that point. So we're going to be researching that in the next week to try to get some kind of deal going there, because we've gotten to that level.
I could just see you guys, like, one of you get like I don't think there's a license for driving a forklift, but I could just see at some point there'll be a video of you guys being like, woo-hoo!
Oh, for sure. And apparently there's ones that are like hybrids, right? They're because right now Trevor, my buddy who's the warehouse manager, he has a lot of experience doing that just based on his old job. His old job was his father, and he helped run it with him. All those amazing scoreboards that you see at the stadiums. Yeah. They did it, especially here in Florida. And of course, COVID racked that business quite a bit, understandably so. But he's used to doing that, and he's used to problem solving. And he's been a heck of an ad. Him and his wife, Kathy, is his wife, and what they've done and helped me grow to even that next level has just been amazing. But anyways, he can do it. But he was telling me that there's actually two versions of it. There's like one where it can act as just where the girls of Scout HQ can jump on if there's a box on the top floor. They can just manually lift themselves up, grab one box and put it down, and then also also acts as a pallet mover. So I'm kind of excited in a nerdy way to find out what it's all about and to wheel and deal. But it's just one of the many things that we're dealing with here, and this very cool arcade game. Did I show you the stand up? Yeah, that comes in on I think on Friday. So we're gonna do
what you have to do. You know what you have to do. You have to do this.
Okay.
If you get like a pallet mover, you have to have a contest to name it.
Oh, I love it. Yes. So
Which means you're gonna get pallet McPallet face or something, but
that's fine. I saw this funny thing because he's just been in the news. I guess there's these like anonymous, like the famous hacker group. I read this article a long time ago, really hilarious things to troll like certain people when they have contests. So I guess somewhere close to you in Houston, there was like a town that was trying to name their to get the community involved to name their toxic sewage center. Right. And they're like, you can name it whatever you want. It can be like, Lee County Sewage Center or, Fort Myers Sewage Center. And they had a write-in vote, and they wrote the vote in, and they named it Fred Durst Sewage Center.
No,
like, Fred Durst, the lead singer of Limp Bizkit. So he actually took it pretty well. And there was another one where Taylor Swift was doing a concert, and these hackers came in. She's like, I'll play your school, whatever school wins, and puts in the most votes. Well, apparently the winning school was like the New Jersey Center for the Deaf. And that was the school that won. Isn't that terrible? But she still played like a champ. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But we will absolutely do the naming of our people mover / pallet mover.
Joey. Yeah. And you also need to have a tournament. Awesome. You need to have a video game tournament, official one every year. You're at the HQ.
That's a great idea. Our idea to kind of build like staff camaraderie. We're gonna pick a game, and then do like, I don't know, a gift card every week on whoever gets the high score, and we're gonna have like a little dry erase board, by like a break just to break up the monotony of everything. So trying to do it as a team building thing, but that's something that I didn't spend Scout money on that. I spent my own money on that just because how do you I can't justify that as a cost for a business. I'll try to write it off my taxes, my personal taxes, but I wouldn't spend Scout money on it. That was a personal thing. I think it's awesome.
Mental health write-off. You could totally do that.
Yeah, I can absolutely write it. I mean, look at it. It's definitely made for Scout, right? I mean, check out. And a shout out to Nate Johnson, who's our new head of design, and he kind of put that together for me. He's just been a hell of an ad. Pretty cool, right, Joey? Like, fantastic. So a lot of really fun stuff is is happening behind the scenes here. It is overwhelming. I need to take a break of some sort, but I'm still running, which is good. I just don't want to overdo it. Oh man, it's so cool.
I highly recommend it. This Sunday, after church, I said to the family, because we have an agreement with our boys are adults now, so that it's hard to get them to want to hang out with the family. But we have an agreement on Sundays they are going to eat a meal with us, since we don't eat any other real meals together as a family. And on Sunday, I got home. Usually I go and I go work out. And I was like, nope, because that means the rest of my day is kind of spent. And I was like, please, 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 can I talk you boys into going? There's a place that I like to go in downtown Houston that's called the Hobbit Cafe, which everything is based in Lord of the Ringsville. And it started out live. So cool. Yeah, I'll take you sometime. It used to be a vegetarian place or a vegan place, and now it's kind of like evolved to be everything, but their portions are huge and it's the most amazing food ever. But I said, can we go down there and do that, and then will you guys go to the movies with us, because we wanted to take them to go see Free Guy. And
I want to see that so bad.
And I had to make, please sweet mama eyes at them, and they were like, okay, fine, because usually they're like, you have to negotiate for one or the other. I'm like, no. But it did such good things for my soul to have so much time with my family, to just go do dumb, normal family stuff. You don't realize that if you don't do those dumb, normal family stuff, they grow up and leave the house, and you don't get to have those times anymore. So made my mom so happy.
Yeah, you're right. My mom, just one of the sweetest ladies ever. I'm obviously very, very biased in that scenario. You know what she did? She's an Italian. She makes some of the best. Her maiden name is Delaquante, and she makes some of the best Italian food. And with all the partners that were down and all the staff, we had she made spaghetti and pasta with cheeses and shrimp cocktails. She catered an event we had on Monday after the photo shoot. And it was awesome. It was very cool. And I get it. I think that's probably where the extra fumes came from. Just my mom and dad kind of helping out. We had a scout cake and everything. So everyone knows I hate Dr. Pepper, right? You know what my favorite food is you don't have Publix's in Texas, do you?
We don't, but I know what you're talking about.
So Publix I love Publix buttercream birthday cake. And it's my favorite thing. Everyone's like, oh, do you love cake? I'm like, no, I don't like cake. I just like this cake. And my mom got a scout, congratulations to everyone. Publix cake, birthday cake, basically. And it's the greatest. Oh my goodness. And none of the partners had it. And it's so funny. They got addicted to it too. And we're all kind of we all eat healthy. That's one thing that I figured out by just us being together. We're all very healthy eaters, but it was definitely a cheat day. We annihilated it. And now that I remember, there's some more sitting in the refrigerator at HQ, and I'm totally gonna eat some.
Going there next.
I'm going there today.
Usually you only get buttercream cake at weddings. That's usually what the main cake is made out of. And you're like, I need to remember this for normal cake eating, but you don't think about it.
Oh, it's so good. Kathy and I, Kathy from Scout HQ, have this bitter feud. She loves I tease her. I'm like, you like sour cream icing? Because I like buttercream icing. She actually likes cream cheese icing. I'm like, it's not the same. So we have this the line has been drawn. I'm buttercream, she's sour cream. Well, it's cream cheese, whatever. Same thing. And we will probably end up killing each other one day because of it. But I'm throwing it out there. Buttercream all the way. But it's so good. I can't wait I'm going to eat some more. Buttercream Publix birthday cake. Nothing better.
Man. Shoot fire, you just ran out of time, dadgummit.
Oh, yep, it's 30 minutes. Oh, man, I can, as you know, this is a great break. By the way, I love doing this with you, Jen, because
me too.
How busy it is. It's just a great, it's a nice, pause. It's almost like just meditation pause and just the chat. But then it's back to the crazy grind. We have a board meeting today, all kinds of stuff going on. But
your board meetings are not boring.
They aren't. No, they're not boring. They're very fun. And every 2 weeks, Mosaic, our manager, joins us and talks about all the fun stuff that's going on with development of Scout titles. And we're going to have some really big announcements soon, everybody. So
we'll talk about it next week then, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Not the announcements themselves, but what it looks like to work with.
Oh, yeah. I'll share everybody non-exclusive stuff about the board meeting. But again, thank you guys so much for joining us. And Jen, great chatting as always. And hope you have a good week. And we'll see everybody next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks, Joey, for doing everything too, pal.